Hello there, hope you are having a very fine day wherever you are. I'm Will for What Culture, and today I want to talk to you about MCU mysteries, or more specifically, MCU mysteries you probably didn't know were actually solved. Because you see, there's been a series of MCU tie-in comics running ever since the original Iron Man, which have taken it upon themselves to solve all those pesky little gaps in logic left lying around by the films. It's with that in mind that I'm Will for What Culture, and this is 5 MCU mysteries that were actually solved in the tie-in comics.
But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done.
Number 5. How did Hydra end up with Lokis Scepter at the beginning of Age of Ultron? So, a fair few people were understandably confused about the beginning of Avengers Age of Ultron, which sees the Avengers leading an assault on Hydra's base in an attempt to recover Lokis Scepter. You see, we'd all assumed that S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Avengers themselves would have taken Lokis Scepter after the Battle of New York and wouldn't have been dumb enough to just leave it lying around on top of Stark Tower for any old terrorist organization to take. Well, this little plot hole was actually resolved in the Avengers Age of Ultron tie-in comic, This Sceptered Isle. S.H.I.E.L.D. in fact did recover the scepter after the New York battle, and they kept it in their custody. However, in between the events of Avengers 1 and Avengers 2, Mark Smith, the chief scientist in charge of examining the scepter, betrays S.H.I.E.L.D. to Hydra. He takes the scepter for himself and kills a fellow scientist on his way out. From there, Smith hands the scepter over to Hydra operatives in Sokovia, who begin using its powers to experiment on the two Maximoff twins. This of course leads to the birth of Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, and sets up the whole assault on the Hydra base at the beginning of Age of Ultron. Number 4. How did T'Challa become the Black Panther in Civil War? In Captain America Civil War, after King T'Chaka is killed in a bomb explosion by Bucky, T'Challa takes up the Black Panther costume and starts kicking some serious ass. Cool as it is, this actually raises a few questions. If the Black Panther mantle is supposed to be passed down when the previous Black Panther dies, how come T'Challa is able to become the Black Panther immediately after his father's death? Surely they didn't just have some Wakandan herb with them on the off chance the king died by explosion. Also, how come T'Challa is so damn good as the Black Panther, seeing as this is presumably his first time testing out his powers? Well, how T'Challa actually got his powers is explained in the tie-in Black Panther Marvel comic Prelude. In it, it's revealed that T'Challa has actually been operating as the Black Panther in Wakanda for almost a decade, ever since the first Iron Man movie. T'Challa actually obtained the powers of the Black Panther to defend Wakanda against various threats, including terrorist mercenary Xander and Douglas Scott. So, in short, T'Challa was kicking it up there alongside Captain America in terms of both skill and power level, because he had been, for almost a decade already, the Black Panther in secret. Number 3. Whatever happened to the leader from the Incredible Hulk? Until Red Skull showed up in Avengers Infinity War in one of the coolest scenes in the film, everyone assumed he was just another one of the MCU villains that the MCU bigwigs had completely forgotten about. And cool as it was to be proven wrong, there is still one more big MCU villain that was teased that we've never heard from since. The leader. The tease comes in the Incredible Hulk movie, where Samuel Stearns becomes infected with some of Banner's blood and begins rapidly mutating and gains genius intellect. He's set up clearly to become the leader in the Hulk sequel, which never happened. Forgotten as he may have been in the movies, the comics do hold the answer to the leader's fate. After becoming infected, he's tracked down by Natasha Romanoff, to whom he delivers a classic evil genius speech. Rather than dealing with any of that, she just brutally shoots him in the kneecap and drags his ass out to S.H.I.E.L.D. and hands him over, where he remains in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody to this day. Number 2. Where was Captain America between Civil War and Infinity War? Steve Rogers is a man of action, and so many fans were really eager to hear what he'd been up to in the gap between Civil War and Infinity War, apart from presumably hanging around Scottish, dimly lit train stations. Well, the film doesn't really tell us, but it is given in the MCU comic book tie-in Avengers Infinity War Prelude. After Civil War, Black Panther apologizes to Bucky and offers to help him remove the Hydra conditioning from his brain. Cap accompanies both of them to Wakanda, stopping off on the way to rescue all of his teammates from the raft. After this, he continues to work in the shadows, working with Black Widow and Falcon against a team of terrorist smugglers smuggling Chitauri weapons into the United States, as well as keeping tabs on all the members of the original team should they ever need help. Number 1. How did Thanos attack Nidavellir without Asgard noticing? The Nidavellir sequence in Infinity War is one of the best sequences in the film, but it does raise a few questions. How on earth did Thanos manage to attack Nidavellir, kill all the dwarves except for one, forge the Infinity Gauntlet, and then deactivate the forge, all without anybody noticing? Nidavellir is supposed to be under the protection of Asgard after all. After we see the Bifrost temporarily destroyed in the first Thor film, the comic Thor the Dark World Prelude explains that the dwarves fear that with the Bifrost gone, the Asgardians will be unable to protect their forges. Well, it turns out that they were right, and with the destruction of the Bifrost severing the connection between Asgard and the other realms, plus all the confusion of Thor the Dark World and Thor Ragnarok, Thanos had just enough time and cover to launch an attack on Nidavellir and forge the Infinity Gauntlet, all without anybody noticing. And there you have it, folks, 5 massive MCU mysteries that were actually solved in the tie-in comics. Don't forget to leave a comment with your own thoughts down below, as well as like, share and subscribe to whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Will for What Culture, and thanks for watching.